Hello and welcome to season 3 of Super Press Bros. I'm player 1. My name is Ike. With me, as always, is.
I'm not doing this. Player 2, Eli. Yeah, no. Protein Shake, do you know this podcast is on YouTube, SoundCloud, and Spotify?
I did not, Robocop. Are those the same places they could?
Like,
Comment
share?
and subscribe.
It sure is.
You don't know how hard I was stopping myself from using like a shit Japanese accent on
I
subscribe again.
absolutely do, actually.
You heard the pause?
I was braced for it. Believe it or not, I fucking knew it was. I was like, here it comes. Here
6 years
the
apart
subscribe.
twins.
Yeah.
Subscribe.
Here comes the fucking Japlish. He's gonna send it.
Hit that subscribe button.
Ugh. Oh my gosh. I was watching a bouldering competition, and one of the casters for it was this British guy, and hearing a dude with a very like London accent pronounce Japanese names hurt me in a deep way.
Can you give the viewers a taste?
Serato. Like Serato Aichi. Oh, Jesus. You Serato Aichi? That one? That guy?
Yeah, what'd I say? What's the difference? I don't understand.
Yeah. Just like, oh, Jesus. It was a bit rough. However, holy shit, watching people who are professionals at bouldering. God damn.
Oh, yeah. They built different. They're part spider.
Yeah, they are. Some of the stuff they can yeet themselves at and then grab onto them, like, but I've
But
climbed.
how?
I know that's not easy to hold on to. God damn.
Yeah, watching them and watching professional like rock climbers do competitions, it's just like God
They
made
different.
people so different that we're barely like there are sects of society that should have different scientific names. Like the genus it just isn't the same. They're part something else. Anyway, other than watching bouldering and the lovely mispronunciation from across the pond, what you been up to?
I have been lately playing a bit of Diablo 4 with a couple people because they had a new season come out. There was a one of the people I watch on YouTube for ARPG content had kind of summed it up best. They've had a big update, so it's turned into Diablo, more like Diablo 3. Which honestly is a better look for it.
I was gonna say, is that actually bad or?
No, it's just kind of funny.
Yeah.
Like it's just slowly regressing into Diablo 3. Like, yeah, okay. So I've been doing a bit of that. I have been hanging out. I don't know how to tip a vibe, but I did go out Friday with other Eli that I've been seeing, and got to go meander around a bit of the U District in Seattle.
U District? Oh, like the
There's
university?
Yeah,
Oh, nice.
yeah. There's a bunch of weird little districts in Seattle that people refer to, and I do not know where the delineation between a lot of them are.
Sure.
Yeah, went out, had like some Thai food, had a drink at a kind of swanky hotel bar, which was loud as fuck. I think apparently the hotel is like for rich college students and their families, so it was a bit smug. It felt, but I do not like scotch, as it turns out.
Yeah, I think luckily and unfortunately, it seems like we are very related in our alcohol preferences, and that like
Yeah,
top shelf we're just like, but why? And our body's like,
yeah.
But why?
Yeah, I don't know who is like, I want a peaty bog taste. And I'm like, why do you want to drink fucking Scotch dirt? Like, why is it something you want? Anyway,
That being said, random aside, Nick Offerman right now is getting a treatment from the real life liquor that he touted his character um Ron
Swanson.
Swanson touted in Parks and Rec and Lagavulin. So there is, if anybody out there wants to, and I was really tempted even though I also don't drink it, but there is a Lagavulin special edition that is like Nick Offerman stamped that is available for purchase right now. And I'm
That's
really
kind of
tempted to
awesome.
just buy it and put it on my wall to look cool.
As it just for the sake of having a bottle.
Yeah, it says like it's got his image and some biz on the front of it to distinguish it. It's not just like
Sure,
some
sure, sure.
weird line of text. So it's like neat, but also I think it's like $90 shipped. I'm like,
Whew.
eh. On the plus side, it's something that like friends could drink or whatever. So I like it still is a small part of me that's torn.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's questionable. It's teetering on that line of do I pull the trigger?
Yeah.
Yeah. I say otherwise been, I don't know, been swooning like a schoolboy over them. That's been fun. And
Aw.
yeah, I know it's adorable.
It is
Um,
adorable. I'm very happy for you to be in a swooning mode. How many
yeah.
dates, hangouts has this been? Is this like becoming a thing, or is this like
Uh-huh.
still
Like we've been seeing each other like once or twice a week for the last month and a half.
hell yeah?
Um, yeah. No, I enjoy them. They're really fun to hang out with. They're really chill. It's very, we run in very different circles, which is kind of nice. Like they have a they have a bad habit of overdoing things. Like they always have to be doing something. Whereas I
Sure.
have a bad habit of not doing anything.
So you
So
help bring each other towards the middle.
yeah, we do go a little bit towards the middle for each other, which is nice.
That's awesome.
Um, so, but no, like we'll probably be hanging out Friday. That it is a little annoying. They're moving further south,
Oh
like at the end
balls.
of this month. So I'm like, damn it.
How
This will
far
make it
how far do
hard.
you have to travel to meet up? Like if do both of does one of you go to the other or do you meet in the middle?
More often than not, they come to me. Um,
That's nice.
for a couple reasons. One is just
Pets.
pets. Let's we're gonna call a spade a
You've
spade.
got the draw. Your
I
home is basically cat theater.
I do have adorable cats. They are the closers.
Gentlemen, if you too want to get a pussy.
Yeah, exactly. Listen, it's really hard for anybody to be threatened by you when you walk into their apartment and their cats walk up to you and are like, "Hello." It's like,
Yeah.
"Oh my god, kittens."
So there was an Ask Reddit that I saw not that long ago of women, what's like something that turns you on to a guy, makes you feel calm, blah blah blah. And a lot of it was, do they have a pet? Like if they have a pet dog or a pet cat, that immediately, I'm not saying it's a panty dropper, but it definitely is like an unclenching of one's butthole, apparently.
Yeah, yeah. All right, it's one of those like, hey, you can take care of something. It isn't scared of you.
So,
It's a measure of safety because like animals key into shit.
it's a measure of
Um,
safety, and it's also a measure of like trust in this person being responsible.
yeah, yeah. Right, that and parking in Seattle is ass.
It is
It's
so
fucking trash.
it's so
So that's another reason is parking near my
you
apartment.
spent how much coming down for that one day and parking for like collectively 4 hours in Seattle? It's like thirty,
Like
forty dollars.
$40.
Yeah.
Well, so they have street parking near their place. However, finding it is a
Yeah.
challenge. I had a fucking aneurysm because I went and hung out with them Friday, and like finding someplace to ditch my car by their apartment, I was just like,
I've
um,
seen somebody do this once. I don't know how legal it is. I don't know how much trouble they got in, but somebody to use it, they have multiple bikes that they put as a like parking saver,
okay,
and then they come back and they move it into their apartment, and then when they like leave, they like pull out a little
they
bit
put the
and set
bikes
it
back.
down.
That's kind of funny.
It's kind of awesome. I'm sure their neighbors fucking hate them.
Probably, probably. But yeah, also like, um, I think part of it they like to kind of get away from their standard spot. So,
Mhm.
and it's they also live by the fucking highway, so their apartment is just default loud.
Yeah.
Like, so if they open a window, it's just
Good for some reasons, though.
um, calm down, sir. I'm gonna need you to fucking put your pants back on, my guy.
I wish I had like something with a zipper right now. I could.
Zip. Uh, yeah, like if I open my window at night, I hear frogs,
Yeah, it's
which
lovely.
is awesome.
Yeah.
So that's yes. Got somebody throat. Yeah, if you're trying to cue me into something, you're gonna have to be a little more clear.
Well, I fucking asked you how you're doing. You can fucking pass the ball back, you
Oh,
dick.
I think you're trying to prompt something out of. Okay,
Yeah,
you were.
pass the goddamn rock, you ball hog.
How's it going? How you
Oh,
doing?
me?
Yeah, you.
Oh, well, I just couldn't. I don't know. Thanks of,
That's what we went for.
that'd be
I don't
so
know.
awesome if nothing and just like went to this main segment. So last time we talked was we recorded last time was Sunday the 5th. Also, as I've recently found out, our mother and I'm sure other mothers occasionally do listen to this. So happy belated Mother's Day, as we didn't record last weekend.
Hi, Mom.
Uh, but on so it would have been Friday the 10th. I went on my first in-person date, I think, or no, second in-person date since getting back in the dating scene, and this one was tragic in a weird way. So first date I went on was a little awkward at moments, but overall pretty good. Second date on this new person, really enjoyed talking with them. They seemed pretty cool, had good repartee. This is definitely one of those reasons to either talk on the phone first or not get too carried away and try to do anything other than go on that one date, because they showed up. I was like, "Hi, nice to meet you." And the minute they started talking, I was like, "Oh, this is the last date I will ever go on with this person." It's like, it's an intangible. I might be built different, but man, you got to be able to listen to your significant other, you know, partner, date talk and not be like, "Ugh." The second this person laughed, I actively tried to not tell a joke the rest of the night. Tell me a joke, Eli. Give me a dad joke.
um, what do you call phony spaghetti?
What?
An impasta.
I died. I died so hard when I heard that. I was like, "Oh God, there were no survivors." I was just like, "Ah." So suffered through the next 2 hours, spent way too much on a mediocre dinner for a place that had grand in the name. It was woefully unimpressive, other than the price tag. They even fucked up my face. They didn't fuck it up. It was just really lackluster given the way they sold it. I was mostly full, but I still had a little bit of room, but I was trying to get the date over. But they came by and mentioned, "Oh, dessert." I was like, "Nah, I think we're good." And they're like, "We have a really good key lime pie." For those of you that know me, key lime pie is top 3 desserts. I will fucking fight anyone to get a piece. And they're like, "It's really good." And I was like, "Fuck. All right." And then it wasn't. Eh. So just
Tragedy.
double dagger. Went our separate ways. And I thought I didn't, not trying to ghost anyone, but I just didn't reach out to them afterwards, hoping that like they could feel my energy and like kind of, take a hint, so to speak. If they reach out, I'm going to respond. But if they don't reach out, cool. Maybe they felt the same way, and we both can move on. We don't need to, reopen this wound any further. But a week and a half later, they reached out. They're like, "Hey, so how was your weekend?" It's like, I don't even know what weekend you're talking about at this point. But I'm like, "Look, vibes weren't right. Whatever. I don't want to, because this is a shitty thing, and maybe I'm curious. do you tell somebody that their laugh is the worst thing ever? 'Cause I feel like you don't, right?
I mean, me personally, probably not.
Yeah, I can understand somebody saying that and trying to be nice, but also like I don't know, it seems like such an intangible thing that you generally most people can't change about themselves.
Yeah,
That
I will.
just find somebody who doesn't mind it or likes it.
Yeah, I will. I would probably do the vague thing of like, hey, the vibe wasn't right. I'm not sure this is what I'm looking for.
Yeah,
Some vague carte blanche kind
yeah,
of shit.
yeah. That's what I tossed in, and as far as I know, they've picked up because they haven't responded. But maybe they're gonna pick up. Maybe they're gonna message me in 2 months and be like, "So Monday, how was your Monday?" So I don't fucking know. But that was Friday the 10th. This last Friday, this is weird. So had a nice long, lengthy lunch or dinner on the 10th. It sucked. On the 17th, I met somebody for 30 minutes to have lunch on my break at work. And it was probably one of the best dates I've been on in a hot minute. Really good chemistry, a lot of fun laughs. And I think this proves to the point, they were a
Mm-hmm.
little bit more boisterous than I prefer when it comes to
Mm-hmm.
like laughing. But the laugh was very sincere. The conversation was so good that while it was kind of like, Jesus Christ, you're loud, it was still just like, yeah, but you're really cool. And I think you're cute. So it just didn't matter. Don't know when I'm gonna go on a second date with them. Hopefully sometime soon. But that one was lovely. And just to fill out the scorecard, went on a date yesterday and talked about this a little bit before the podcast started. They say don't meet your heroes. And in a similar way, I think while you should do this, there is the same kind of worry of ruining this visage, is kind of finding people with qualities that you've always fantasized about or just always thought were kind of cute in media or whatever. To that
Mm-hmm.
point, met somebody yesterday who very much had the classic anime ditz brain cute voice, and that aspect only
It's
has
fun in
a
doses.
positive quality for as long as the man is horny. The
Yeah, it's
second,
fun. It's fun in doses.
I don't even know if in doses, man. I think the second a man
Well,
is
well,
no longer horny, whether because he took a cold shower or other activities, that quality becomes nails on a chalkboard real quick when the conversation is like paper thin, when their insights on reality are about as thick as a cloud. It's ugh. Like I'm dropping really obvious sarcasm and they're looking at me completely flabbergasted. It's rough. It, it's a
it's rough.
it's it's tough, man.
To to hit you with an Avatar quote. That's rough, buddy.
it's, it's very fucking rough. Uh that being other than that, life's been going pretty great. Got to Friend got to have a great incidental bachelor's day party in that we went and played a tournament and he won it. So now we get to go together to Washington D.C. to play a tournament together in October, which is awesome. He only had this one opportunity because he's getting married, and it's funny seeing somebody else get married and realize, holy fuck, that takes a lot of time. Just the amount of shit that goes into like getting married, not only in like just the filling out paperwork, but like
Mm-hmm.
planning a legit wedding. I don't even think theirs is like that crazy. Like I know people like there are definitely people that are pretty down to earth, so I don't think they're going like nuts on butts with any of the activities, but it's still like, damn, you guys are going like each weekend is a different thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like they're running back like, oh, let's try rings here, let's try rings here. They tried rings for one weekend, picked a ring. Cool. The next weekend they tried this, they picked a thing. But each weekend has been, let's go do this thing and get it done. And that's
Mm-hmm.
still every weekend. I'm like, God dang. It's like, jeez.
All I can think is Brooklyn Nine-Nine, where Amy's planning for the wedding. It's like, we transitioned from the month of Binder, and like pulls a Binder away, to the week of,
The
or the week
binder.
before Binder.
Yeah.
Boom! And Jake's comment is, wow, they're getting bigger.
Exactly.
You should see the honeymoon binder. Oh, is there sex stuff in it? Oh, several tabs, and they're cascading.
uh, yeah. Anywho, other than that, I think just the school year is kind of wrapping up. A lot of the kids aren't taking it at my school aren't taking it seriously enough, which for some of them it doesn't matter because I'll see them next year, but for others it's
No, it's a bit of a problem.
so I work in a high risk charter school. There is an age out year at
Yep,
21 where you can't come back anymore. You have to go to adult school.
yep.
I don't know how the transfer process is. I hope for a couple of these kids it's not too bad because that's where they're
They
headed.
don't need it.
Yeah, this one's really sad. Is there are two kids, one of which is going to age out next year, and honestly, at the rate he's producing, he might age out even though he doesn't have that many credits to finish, just because he's moving so painstakingly fucking slow.
Ugh.
But he's dating a girl who's going to age out this year, and because she's in his orbit, he is pulling her down, which I've never wanted to commit violence against a child, but he is trying my patience. The amount of times, and I understand why, he's smitten, she's cute, he's good looking. I get it, but
However,
you done fucking yourselves, and especially her. It's like she needs all these opportunities to get shit done, and he's constantly. And I'm sure she's not, this maiden that has no say in the matter. I'm sure she's like, kind of
sure.
incidentally, accidentally, or occasionally, maybe even intentionally, kind of running away from her life's problems of fuck. I have to do a shit ton of schoolwork to hang out with this, good looking dude. But it's like there's so many times where it's, oh, let's do this thing. I'm like tempted to punch him in the face, grab her by the shoulders, and like strap her to the seat and be like, no, like, fuck. It's rough to watch kids fuck up their own future and know that if you attempt to stop it,
You
all you're
might
gonna
make it
do is
worse.
spurn it forward.
Yep.
It's fucking rough. Can't imagine being a parent. Can't imagine being at a
Yeah.
school where I can't say shut the fuck up when they say something that's stupid occasionally, which thankfully kind of allowed to do.
I mean, I do remember mom saying at one point, like, it's hard to watch kids. It's hard to watch people just make their own mistakes, but sometimes you just gotta let them.
Yeah.
Yep. Sometimes you just gotta learn.
Speaking of mistakes that you gotta let people just make on
Oh
their
my
own,
good God, it's starting early.
what are we talking about this week?
We're talking about our difference of opinion about Invincible in the second season.
AKA our review of season 2 of Invincible.
I enjoy. Okay, also obligatory spoiler warning. There's going to be lots of them. It's inevitable. We're doing a review of a season. If you haven't watched it, what are you doing here?
Yeah, I should give it a try.
But we have a tremendous differing of opinions on this show.
Yep.
Um, in that I'm
Also,
very
another thing to obligatorily say, neither of us are particularly right or wrong. These are our opinions. A lot of this is preference. One of us
yep.
is liking chocolate, one of
It's,
us is liking vanilla this week.
it's entirely subjective. Um,
That being said, my brother's a fucking idiot.
wow. I got fucking whiplash from that sentence. It's like one semicolon and then just wildly offensive. Wow. I mean, he's a great person. I respect him. He's a fucking retard. Yeah.
Needs to be at a home for the criminally stupid.
Criminally stupid. All right. All right. All right. Let's
Do you
fucking get
want?
into it.
Do
All
you
right.
want to?
I will say there's gonna be 2 points. I think we can absolutely agree the show is top tier. One, voice acting.
They did spend a lot of their budget getting
Oh
good
yeah,
voice
it's a
actors.
huge amount of budget, but
One
goddamn, it's good.
one caveat is the guy that plays the Martian dude.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember his name. He's a comedian. He's on like DuckTales. He was in the later
Okay.
seasons of uh Parks and Rec as like Ralphio.
Sure.
He cannot be in a scene that needs to be serious ever because his voice is inherently unserious.
It's a little goofy.
It's
I'll give you that.
so goofy and annoying. It's like it makes the scene a joke if you want it to or if you don't.
I
And
don't.
there are scenes where I think they're trying to make him serious and he's trying to say a serious line. He's doing his best, but his timbre is inherently comedic.
I think it kind of works. Um, just because it's so juxtaposed, like, and he's the only one out. So I feel like it's not as egregious as you say personally. Like I
Fair
see where
enough.
you're coming from.
For me, it just all the scenes that I'm like, all right, this is a comedy scene now. Like I can't the scene where they're on like Mars or on the
They're trying to go to the ship. He's like, actually, the weapons can see us.
well, I mean that one is just funny. I thought that was funny. I think they
Okay.
wrote that scene like a bag of dicks, but that like him saying that was funny. But when he's trying to like quasi self-sacrifice block for them and he is in pain and he is worried about them, it doesn't get conveyed at all for me.
Okay. Sure. I can kind of see that.
Other than yeah, other than that, I absolutely agree. The voice acting's busted.
Other one I would say is pretty top tier is the music selection.
Yeah, it got used a little. There was a couple of the numbers that were a little bit plug and play, but
Sure.
I mean, it's still good for sure.
Okay.
Also, on voice acting, my other quibble, and this isn't a bad one, they use the same guy to voice two different characters, which I'm not a fan of.
Oh,
Given, I don't know if it's animation styling or what. The guy that does the Viltrumite leader is the same guy from season one who did the like demon detective.
it
Uh,
is.
yes, 1000% is. It's a Clancy Brown. If you look up Clancy Brown, he's Krieg and Damien Darkblood. And Bryant, whoever the fuck that is. I mean, I love Clancy Brown. He is a win always, but it was a little bizarre to have him playing two characters. Just as a general rule, if you're going to be like so noticeable by your voice and not like a voice actor, which love Clancy, but he always sounds the fucking same. It's like don't
Huh. So
and
he was.
yeah. He's a banger. I love Clancy. I would like Clancy is one of my top 5 voice actors. Full stop. His voice is so cool and iconic, but like it's always him. I can pick him out of a fucking like crowd if he's talking. It's fucking
He's the guy that also he did like Longfang and fucking Avatar, right?
uh probably. I don't know off the top of my head.
Right. I'm gonna check really quick because I want to make sure. I'm like 90% on
I'll do
this.
you one better. He's the fucking he plays Mr. Krabs in SpongeBob.
I have no idea. He is Longfang. Okay.
Yeah, so looking at he's also Red Death and Venture Brothers, Mr. Krabs. That that's
His voice has actually got a bit of range if he goes from fucking Mr. Krabs to Longfang to Red Death. That's okay.
I mean Red Death and Mr. Krabs he's talking like himself. I don't remember what he sounded like as
I feel
Longfang.
like you need to listen to this side by side. Those are not the same.
Okay, do that later, but for me I can always tell that it's him. He's got a certain
Sure.
vocal
Sure,
quality.
sure,
It's
sure.
amazing, but it's like very
Okay.
specific to
I
him.
can see it's a little weird that it's like these two notable characters.
All right, now that we've got our agreements out of the way, and I think there will be some others, do you want to
Sure.
go pros or do you want to go cons first?
All right, let's let you hit out with the cons. Go for it.
Well, okay, what cons do you have for the show?
Um, some of the pacing feels a little stilted.
Okay.
Um, it it feels like so. Some of the emotional scenes feel a bit rushed.
Yep.
Like some of the grieving scenes with the mom feel a bit rushed. Um, some of the trauma stuff for Mark feel a little bit rushed. Like some of that pacing around some of the personal stuff just feels a little wonky. Some of the some of the side character stuff feels awkward as shit. Like the um stuff with Robot and Monster Girl feels awkward. I think
Yep.
kind of by design, but it either feels like it feels like it needed one more scene to it,
Yeah,
weirdly
also
enough.
that. Yeah,
Um
its culmination is pretty like lackluster.
yeah, like I get what they want, but it feels like it just goes good, bad, fine, resolved. It's like, okay. Um my biggest grievance with the fucking with the season, my biggest grievance, Duplicate needs to be dead.
Yep.
Duplicate needs to be fucking dead. The fact that she is alive is a god awful writing choice. That actually angers me.
Yep. It's Death of
That
Superman all over again.
that was so cheap. That one was so cheap. That is the only place where I'm like, wow, that is a horrendous error. Like you just suck the emotion. Like okay, I with Alan, it's a good bait and switch, and
Alan?
it the alien where he gets like the life support turned off. You assume he's gonna die, and then
Oh,
yeah, yeah,
sure.
yeah, like
Although the fucking like I'm bigger and stronger now was fucking weird.
I mean, it kind of makes sense. He's like supposed to just have adaptive. He's supposed to have like this adaptive biology.
Oh, okay. So he adapted to no oxygen.
Like yeah, so he adapted to like his body needed it had no more supports, so it had to either bulk up or die.
Sure.
So it's like
Okay.
that's the gamble. Like that kind of makes sense. Okay, and it's like there's a logic to it. There's a setup to it. Okay, fine, but like the whole point of Duplicate Scene, it's so fucking grim with Duplicate Scene, and it's
It
so
really is.
panic inducing. It's like oh shit.
Yeah.
It's such a good oh shit moment when she can't make another copy because she's held on to. Like to
I like the logic behind it because that honestly was the troubleshooting logic I had, but it does undercut the scene.
it fucking it validates the scene
Yeah.
so hard.
Also, the other girl definitely should be dead.
I'm more okay. I'm more okay with her being alive because it's
She
pretty
was
metal for her to like.
inside a thing without oxygen for like an hour.
I said more. I'm not totally okay with her
like,
rolling. I
like I agree that it undercuts the scene that Duplicate is alive, but hers makes sense. She should always have a backup doing dishes somewhere and not fucking like like she should always be a janitor at some like
some fucking high
super
school.
chill school in fucking Wisconsin or some shit.
Yeah,
Like she
yeah,
should not have all her eggs in the basket. There's no reason, especially
sure.
given the way it works. It seems like her system works. But like the other girl gets like the way she dies unsettles me because things
Oh, it's
inside of
super
things,
grim.
like both of the way they dies was like really fucked and awesome. And the fact that they're both not dead really does make the scene worthless and annoying to me.
Yeah, like I'm more okay with um I don't remember her name.
Yeah.
But I'm more okay with the
Ant
Ant Man
Woman.
fucking stand-in
Yeah.
being alive than I am with Duplicate. With the way that scene plays out. Also, it's just kind of metal for her to roll out of a dead body and regrow. that was kind of a metal just fuck you.
Yeah.
Um but yeah, like both of them being alive, just it's like okay, we get to have Rex mature for no reason. Like that felt so cheaty. Like
Yeah. There
if
needed
we're
to be
gonna
a
try and
cost paid
assign
there.
burden, if we're gonna try and assign burden of action to him or like consequences to his fucking immaturity to make him grow up,
I
there
don't
needs to
even, I
actually be
mean, it was
consequences.
immaturity in the way he kind of was in headspace, but not in the action. Like he didn't put them in undue danger. Like they got a job, they went and did it. But
No, but
like,
like he's still like reckless. But he's like, let's fucking do it quick and be back in time for pizza. Like,
yeah.
yeah.
But I
So
mean,
like,
it's a mindset, not a decision to be made.
sure, but like
I
he,
agree, though. I see what
yeah,
you're saying.
yeah. But like
And I
either
think
way, if you're
not
trying to
only,
if you're trying to cheat him there, you can't fucking
yeah,
not have you can't just let everything be okay.
yeah, agree. I like that choice on the writing wise, but I agree that not only for Rex and his growth, but for fucking the audience to endure that scene, because it is rough.
That is a
To
rough
then
scene.
have it be like, "Oh, they're all okay." It's like, "Fuck you." I
Yeah,
just had to, like, die internally to experience this, which I love in art, but to then undo it, eat my shorts. Fuck
yeah.
off.
That was that was like probably the most savage scene of the season, and they just
Yes, not
undo
even
it.
close.
Yeah, like that scene was awesome in all the wrong ways. Like I was just ugh, Jesus.
Yeah,
The yum.
the killing the way they killed both the in quotes, "killed" both the characters was so ruthless and so fucked. But as, as people that seem to be writers, have, written products before, is fucking good. Game respect game. The way they wrote that scene initially, fucking great.
Oh yeah, metal as fuck.
Then to undercut it by undoing all that they did because, I don't know, unwillingness to kill your darlings, which again, both those characters, Duplicate's gotten to have plenty of screen time, be a character for long enough. Cool. She can die. It means something that's great. The other girl, who fucking cares? I don't want to say she's a nobody, but we don't know her
We
name.
don't remember her name.
Yeah, like she can fucking die. Who gives a shit? It's fine. It gives weight. We feel it more.
Yeah.
Okay, are you done saying your bad things and I get to open up my fire hose? Or do you got more?
Uh, there there's one thing I'm gonna kind of gonna gloss over is the continuity of the show is always a bit wonky, and like proper continuity of superhero shows where there's a bunch of different power schemes thrown around is really hard to maintain.
How do you mean continuity? Can you explain that for the audience and me in this
So
case?
like the fact that there are certain scenes where like relativistic speeds are possible versus like scenes where it seems like they can't like okay with Viltrumites especially it's really hard to have like scenes where they can just solve every problem and scenes where they can't. And it's more
Yeah,
like a matter of
yeah,
when they
that's
can open up versus when they can't. And it's always a little weird.
the the power system with the Viltrumites is confounding to me. Nolan basically beats 3 by himself, 2 of them at the same time, but then one of them shows up later as an understudy and is, according to the humans, more powerful than Nolan.
But they just say faster.
Is that what they say?
Yep.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah,
she's faster.
I
Fair
know
enough.
a little bit about the comic. Yeah, no, that bitch dies to Nolan apparently. Like, there's no way she fights him.
Okay. She's just quicker.
She's
Hmm.
just quicker. She's just really fast.
Okay, fair enough. That makes a couple of that makes her scenes a lot more tolerable. But yeah, the the Viltrumite power system. Also, the fact that there's one of the deaths that happens for the Viltrumites, and I'm just like, really? That's all it took to beat you? Like, I mean, I know they're also the way they get hurt sometimes is confounding. It's like there's no physics when it comes to fight sequences of like going through a building at supersonic speed versus a punch up close. I'm like, okay, but he punched you through multiple buildings. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We're gonna fly back at him. No deal. Oh, he hit you in the back. You're fucking dead. It's like, do buildings not have like any density to Viltrumites? It's not a thing.
Yeah, that's why I said that's one of the things where I it's hard to balance. So I kind of let it go and just suspend some of the disbelief around their bullshit.
That's
Like
probably the correct way to look at it.
yeah, like I do like if you try to nitpick and make everything rationalize and make sense, it doesn't. It just doesn't. Like
Yeah,
but that's not where I choose to get hung up because it's like the things that are supposed to hurt, they clearly assign weight to. So it's like
they
okay,
do a good job at making it emotionally uh consistent
hmm
versus logically and physics consistent in their universe, which I understand and kind of in a weird way matches their art style of
yep,
like, look, we're not spending a lot of money and a lot of importance on things that like matter visually, but we're going to convey it like in an emotional way that you'll understand. Like, I mean,
hmm
yeah. Anyway, you ready to pass the baton or got more in the
go
chamber?
for it. Open it
Okay.
up.
The writing is fucking tacky as shit. There's so many of the sequences where the writing doesn't hold up, the verbiage is like fucking mid as crap. The fucking like I cannot stand the scene when they are on the Martian planet, which I'll get back to that in a second. There is a disagreement between Invincible and the Eternal,
Hmm.
and it's like 5 seconds, and who fucking cares? It's like, give it to me, I'm stronger. He looks at him, groans, and gives it to him. Either make more or make less of that.
Sure.
Like, have him just realize it and give it to him. Sure. Have them actually fight about it and fight about it. Fine. But to do that was such a half measure, and the verbiage is just so fucking tepid dog shit. It's just so vanilla, so crap, and it's such a constant proliferation of the show as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah,
There,
I think that kind of goes with what I said about pacing. It feels like there's some things that just need a little more time to breathe that don't get it.
dude, more time. There's so many fucking subplots this season.
Yep.
Either this season is going to go down as the season that set up 3 and 4, which I'm not a fan of, but okay, I'll go back in time and forgive you a little bit.
Sure.
Or this season they tried to be Game of Thrones and failed gloriously. There's like 10 subplots that don't get enough time, and I don't fucking care. I don't. With how much time you gave them, with how much weight you gave them, I don't give a shit
Sure.
about fucking the gay roommate's friend. I don't care. Give it more time, give it no time. But that amount of time, I don't give a shit.
Sure.
I think the way they handled the fucking Cecil's like right hand man was a little bit mid and kind of like I get it, but also I don't know, it's a bit
I actually like that one. I
I
feel like that
like
was
it in concept, not in execution.
I I'm gonna disagree with you on that one.
You're going to
I
disagree
actually
with me on
think
all of these, and that's fine. But I'm
no,
just saying,
I don't disagree with you on a lot of the side plots not having the right amount of time. I agree.
or just mattering. Like
Yeah,
I'm sorry, the
there's a
fucking
lot of the shit with the Guardians that just kind of I don't care. Sure.
also the fucking Langston. I don't fucking care about that guy. He shows up, he uses so much screen time for a fight that's kind of cool, but ultimately irrelevant. The time travel thing, unless it's set up and pays off big, which I don't see how in season 3 and 4, doesn't fucking matter and took like an episode's full length time between his fight, between the setup, between all that. And I do not care. And it does not affect the story. He goes back
E-
to his own universe knowing one thing that they could have just kissed. And it's been set up in looks and glances the whole time of him and Eve probably hooking up.
Yep.
Because duh, supers should fuck supers because they understand the circumstance and that really fucking matters. That's why celebrities fuck celebrities. They understand the game they're in and they can relate.
Yep.
Like they know the world that they live in. But
Sure.
this whole Langston thing, it also doesn't make sense. He's super smart, but can't understand that this is one of the Invincibles that's actually a good guy, that he did this. He turned bad because of an explosion that he got then saved by him. What the fuck are we talking about? Also, he's super strong because of this explosion, not super weak. That's how physics work now? Okay,
No.
grown.
That okay. You are missing details that are explained.
What?
Okay, first off, his brain is now 100 different people's put together.
Yeah.
So he's got memories cutting it. It's not just him being it's not that he's just an idiot. It's that his overlapping memories telling him different things. Two, he literally says they put him back together stronger.
Sure. Like the amount of
Like that,
strength he has is a little bit cattywampus for that, but sure.
you got fucking superpowered aliens. Come on, standard rules don't necessarily apply. He can go to any fucking
Okay,
dimension where they can give him super drugs.
okay, fine. For how cohesive he's thinking and doing things in like just a scientific way, for him to then be like plagued by multiple personalities is a little bit contrived, but even if that's the case, I still don't fucking care given how much time it takes and how little cost it is. Also, cry me a fucking river, Mark. Kill somebody, move on with your life. You kill people. This is like Batman being like, I don't kill people. Yeah, you do all the fucking time. You just don't notice it. Mark kills people, and by Mark not killing people, other people die. So it's just kind of like you have to do the thing that sucks. And for him to finally whinge, complain that a guy was that said he was going to kill his fucking family, and he kills him, and he fucking bemoans it for like 5 to 10 minutes of screen time, and that's clearly going to continue. Jesus Christ. Your dad put you through a fucking train of people. You've killed a lot of people. You need to stop people like that. You've had a long time. I'm sorry. It sucks. Also,
Wow. Holy
bitch
shit.
the bitching and moaning of, oh, I want to go to college, but I also need to save the universe. He literally goes back to college instead of going into the universe so he can stop the Viltrumites that are going to kill the fucking universe. Are you fucking kidding me? I get you're a kid, but like that happened a train ride ago with your face. Shut up. It like stop. It's so stupid. Just like accept your situation. I know you don't like it. Fuck Eve, get rid of your girlfriend because she's never gonna understand, which I'm glad they did that. But Christ, the amount of time of like, I want to go to class. It's like, you serious?
Wow. Okay, you good over there?
Dude, the amount of PowerPoint slides I'm going through right now, you're gonna be in for a long haul. All right, the Viltrumite logic is dumb smart as hell. This idea of like all of a sudden now they care about like with the way we've seen it actioned out via the Langston arc and him like back going of how cavalier and okay they are just fucking murdering people in mass. And then when the Viltrumite shows up and is like, look, we can stop, and goes on this really cool ideological rant about, you do realize you have politicians that effectively kill people every day, but you're fine with it. But the second we show up and like kill 2 people with our hands, you lose your goddamn minds. That's really cool. Then the implementation's like cattywampus as shit. So I don't know why a superpowered race would need to feel the need to gaslight sales pitch their ensuing like reign. It just like doesn't make sense to me, and it feels kind of like somebody wrote the arc and their ideology, and then one person wrote the speech, and they were did not agree at
Mm-hmm.
all on anything, which is
Sure.
just, don't do that. It's hypocritical and just inconsistent. I do not like.
Sure.
Um, oh my god, the Thetis reveal of being a Viltrumite is the most Superman dumb shit I've ever seen in my life. He takes off his beard and immediately is recognized as a Viltrumite. Are you fucking kidding me? Viltrumites
That's
can't have beards?
that's
What
pretty
the
silly.
fuck is that? It's so stupid.
That's pretty silly.
And it's not meant to be stupid like the episode before with the whole, and we'll get into this, of the pros that I see in the show of them kind of being tongue in cheek about like animation things when he goes to the con.
That scene was
That
hilarious.
scene is hilarious, but this wasn't that. So why did you have that kind of logic implemented in a serious reveal? What the fuck? Have him take off like a coat, a suit. A beard though? Fuck off. What am I, 5? Like, oh my god, Superman's Clark Kent. Like, yeah, no shit. I can't believe anybody else didn't notice. Like, what the fuck are we doing? Also, I'm noticing this through line of the way humor gets written in specifically Seth Rogen animation is just aggressively on the nose. He like punches you in the face with a fucking wiffle ball bat of comedy over and over. It's I'm kind of over it. It might be a me thing. Comedy's to each
I
their
think
own.
I think that was kind of a you thing. I'll be
It's
honest.
totally fine. Y'all are wrong. It's all good. But Jesus, like it's just so on its face constantly. There's no minutia, there's no nuance. It's just like joke, joke, get it, joke, get the joke, get the joke. I'm like, Christ, can you just for a second chill? Talked about that. Okay.
Holy shit! You have an itemized list.
Yeah. Oh, I wrote this down, bitch. I did my homework. I'm ready to go.
Okay.
The power dynamics that it happened in season 1 a little bit with the whole like one of the fights that Invincible gets in with the gang with the fucking OP as shit lion guy that
Yeah.
just cleans their whole team up,
Yeah.
but is a fucking merc when he could clearly rule a planet, was fucking weird and out of nowhere. And I think that's something they like to do, is just have power structures that throw you for a loop just out of sheer rug pulling ability. Like the fucking snake dude that gets released is a fucking moron. Just in the way they designed him, he's a twat. Just like, Yes, we will take over the world. Like, shut up. Please shut up. But then for him to have these busted as shit henchmen, what the fuck? That dude, the guy that just fucking bitch slaps the team basically by himself. Why is he working for that guy? Are they related? His mother's dying wish work for this dipshit? Like, for real. He could just whoop ass wholesale, but he's working for a moron that has a gun? Why? Also, why are they using superpowers when apparently guns work just great on half of these fuckers? Like, just roll up with a gat and you can take down half of the fucking team. Like, so many of those guys can't beat a gun. What the fuck? How does Rex have a suit that's not bulletproof? He shoots him through his suit with just a plain Jane pistol. What the fuck is that shit? It's so stupid. Like, half of them, they get shot with these laser rifles. It bounces off or doesn't really hurt them too much, just knocks them into something. And then the other half are like, holy shit, a 22 caliber pistol. Run! They've got the tack. What are we talking about? This is a big one to me. It's part of the inconsistency. So the Martian arc does nothing. We go there, we get the guy, he comes back, gets re-fucking grabbed by the host. Cool, we've accomplished nothing. The team already knew that, like, in Brooklyn Nine-Nine, that one chick was, like, the stole the coke drug dealer henchman chick.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like, that was the reveal for the Martian guys. Everybody's like, yeah, it's them. They're the Martian. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
We're all on the same page. Neat. Which was cute, but also it doesn't do anything. We keep him. The Martians stay out there. We don't really have to deal with them. And then we have the superhost guy who's coming to Earth on Earth now with one of those, which can likely reproduce asexually because probably. So nothing's been accomplished. Nobody's been hurt, damaged, or killed. We haven't learned anything new. So we spent all this time to do nothing. That's filler. And it took like an episode. All it did, the only thing it did, was have them be away so that people could kind of die.
Yeah.
That's it. Are you fucking... Call them to a different mission that has meaning, that accomplishes, changes something, as opposed to, oh, let's go have them do this thing so this other thing can happen. That's bad writing. Just full sale. That it's like
It's,
clinically bad writing.
I will add an asterisk to your point.
Okay.
If the guy being on Earth infested by Sequid does something, then it matters. I do agree. It's severely undercut since it seems like one of the primary reasons was to isolate like Rex, Kate, and whatever shrink bitch's name is, which is super undercut by them surviving.
Yes.
If they die, I completely disagree with your point. But as I said, my biggest grievance is that dumb shit of writing. So
Well, no, what
agree.
I'm saying is you can still have that. You can just have them do a mission that has relevance.
Yeah,
Because this mission doesn't. Because he was coming to Earth anyway. So he could have landed, pretended to be human, like the sequin goes back into his brain, and then deal with the invasion on Earth. People could die, it could get places. Like, there's ways you can have this sequence play out relatively the same and have relevance. Fucking have somebody die from the sequence. We've got so many morons on this fucking team. Fucking kill one of them. Somewhere. Somehow. Kill one of them. Have us care. But no. We have to have a fake funeral so that fucking Eternal can also say the dumbest line ever of like, why do I care? Like, Nolan giving a shit about people and like getting angry about it makes sense.
Yep.
That because he is a fucking Viltrumite. He doesn't
He's
care.
raised to not be.
Yeah. And now he has feelings and he's fucking pissed. I get it. That's a really cool scene. That's awesome. Eternal, he's been on Earth for 1,000 years and has had 1,000 lovers, got angry when his team died. The guy feels emotion. Fuck off that he's like, this is the first person I cared about. Bullshit. That's such a non-starter.
Yeah, Immortal, I'll give it to you. Immortal sucks. He is sloppily written. He's lazy. He feels boring.
He's so bad. I just don't care about him at all.
He is an uninteresting fucking piece of granite I don't give a shit about.
So then here's the problem. With the Martian plan, what is this, improv? They're figuring it out on the fly because of why? Like, so many characters, this is like the apex of it, but so many characters are so dumb and needlessly never plan for shit. Like, they have a flight up there to talk out their plan, but they get there and they're like, "Oh, what do we do now?" What do we do now? Do we not have a plan? Oh, they can see us? Why didn't you tell us before? You're on the fucking ship with us. We know you're a Martian. Why is this waiting? It's just like it doesn't make sense. Like the writers feel like they had a gun to their head and had to write the episode as fast as the characters had to fucking think in real time. Just
Sure,
fucking plan. Have the plan fail, but plan something. It's
sure.
so needlessly crippling of the character's intelligence for them to be this moronic, especially when Cecil's such a badass about knowing so much. For them
Yeah.
to just go up there and be like, "Oh shit, what do we do?" And for one of them to be like, also, holy Christ, the fucking black strongman character feels racist. He feels like a racist depiction of who's that guy that like built the railroad by himself or whatever? Uh oh, he could like supposedly beat um a machine in like building a rail or something. Fuck.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
It feels like they manifested that character as a superhero. He is so cliche and fucking like he sounds a bit like he was created by a racist on the way he talks, on the things he says. I'm like, bruh, this shit is like it's it's really hard to not listen to this shit and laugh at how hokey your character is. This feels bad.
It's a, I'll give it. It's a little wonk. I'll give you that.
And to wrap up the end of the Martian arc, there is the situation where they had somebody who lied, kill, basically killed a guy. Also, this speaks to my point on the way this show writes so much of its action and so much of its plot. In the flashback scene, do you remember how he like kind of takes the human spot? This is my favorite thing. It's so stupid.
He like hits him in the head.
No, he picks him up to hit him in the head. The guy's on the ground. Hit him in the head on the fucking ground. Why are you picking him up to hit him? What the fuck does that do? It's so fucking stupid. You don't. That's not. It's so dumb.
It is broken, yo.
He just like picks him up to knock him back down. What shtick is this? Is this a like? I know it's a cartoon, but this is fucking
The one thing
ridiculous.
I could kind of make the argument is like A, he's waffling the decision, or B, he needs to like get a better look at him to better mimic his appearance.
Sure, I'll allow that. It still looks dumb as
It
crap.
looks hokey as fuck for sure.
So he does that, leaves a guy to die, basically kills a human, takes his place, lies to the government, pretends to
Yeah.
be one of them, has fucked over his own people, and his people, after being saved, are like, "Look, thank you for doing that. It was really cool. You guys can leave now. Just leave this traitor behind that you don't like, by the way. He's not been helpful. He's been kind of more of a liability than anything else, and you don't know if you can trust him, and has led to the death of a lot of people, potentially."
Yeah.
And they're like, "Nah, we got to save them and potentially kill you." Like, they don't know that they're not killing them by blowing up those spaceships. And they're okay with that. And I'm just like, really? Like, come on. Fucking let them have their own guy back.
Yeah, that also felt weird. I was like, I get why, kind of, but not.
Okay, also, talk about wasting time. Unless they are, and again, this is my concern for it, and I don't think it's acceptable, as I feel like they are just setting up multiple seasons down the line, but also doing so in a sloppy and just truncated bit sort of way with all of these storylines, as I've said. But the even robot being incepted for like 5 seconds before being unincepted, especially within its own episode, it's not even like a hanger that you come back and immediately fix, which would have still been bad, but a little, at least I get why, is to create like, oh shit, you got to see what happens next time kind of dealy. But they're incepted and then unincepted by these like little creatures in 5 seconds.
Wait, what?
So when they're on the alien planet, they press the button, knock all of the little things
Oh,
off the
oh,
guy,
oh, oh, yeah. Okay, okay.
and then they turn around and even robot are like doing that creepy ass smile, being like, "Ha
Yeah,
ha ha!"
they've been yoinked. Yeah,
They've
yeah,
been
okay.
yoinked, and then they get unyoinked in like literally a minute. I'm just like, what are we doing? Like it accomplishes nothing. It's just so
Yeah, that would have just been more interesting if like, fucking at least if like Mark had to just tear them physically off or
tear him
something.
physically off, that like they like I mean there is this in quotes effect in that Martian gets to talk to Beast Girl, and again flub like the line of like trying to like, also I can fix you. Jesus Christ, that's a line that you can just never say.
I
And
mean, to actually, I think he can because he's so socially stunted.
no, he is, but like hearing it, it's one of those, oh
Yeah,
yeah,
no,
that's why
it's
you never say that to people.
yeah,
Because
and
like just hearing it is cringe as balls.
yeah, no, I mean, it
No, no,
fits.
his character should be saying it. I
Yeah,
think the line is good, but it's just like
but
that's it.
also, yeah,
Yeah. But like his takeaway from that is like not very like bettering for his character. Like it full stop doesn't do anything.
sure.
And I'm just like, I don't care. Yeah. Anyway, that unless I would be beating dead horses by going on any of their points because we were going over them. So now to the positive.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna clap back hardest on the issue that you have with Mark.
Okay.
Holy fuck, he's 18.
19.
Ooh. Okay. You have a traumatized 19-year-old who wants to be normal.
Sure.
He's not a fucking he's not an adult. He is not a soldier. To a degree, he kind of didn't sign up for a lot of this shit.
Absolutely.
He absolutely stumbled into it. So yeah, the notion he wants to be normal makes perfect sense. The fact that he wants to be with the person he liked in high school and to make it work and to try and slot into her life makes perfect sense. The fact he tries to make boundaries and keep a separation between his superhero side and his personal side because he saw what it fucking did to his mom makes perfect sense.
Oh, no, that's not what I disagree with.
It kind of is.
I disagree with his intentional decisions to shirk responsibility when it's clearly
It's not sure. Okay.
no,
Okay.
he doesn't leave the
Isaac,
planet.
shut the fuck up. I let you talk.
Well, you're saying the rest of the stuff I'm agreeing with you. It's just that he like there are certain circumstances that yes, even in high school, if I was in high school, given that circumstance, role playing it in my head, I would go, fuck, I have to go do this. He literally goes, here's some books. And they're like, we need you. And he goes, I got to go talk to my girlfriend. I'm sorry, what?
Okay. There's no limitation. Here's the
Uh,
thing. There's always something. At what point is he allowed to say, "Nah, I don't want to. I need a fucking night off." There's always something. This world sucks ass. There's
I,
always a monster. There's always an alien invasion. There's always some fucks from another dimension. There is always something.
there are different degrees of something, is my
I
point.
don't fucking care. There's always something. If at any point he is on a distress call because there's always something, he doesn't get to be human, which he wants to be. That's the whole point.
I
He
agree with you.
he wants to not be his fucking dad.
I agree with you. I
No,
don't have
you
a problem
don't.
with
You
him.
clearly don't.
I don't have a problem with him going, hey, it's a monster. You guys fucking take care of it, which he kind of tries to do and get shirked, which I'm like, that sucks for him. I get that. It's mostly the killing of Langstrom and the
Also, it's Angstrom. It's not Langstrom. It's
oh, it's
Angstrom Levi.
Angstrom. Okay, sorry. The killing of Angstrom and the like and the bemoaning of it for fucking ever.
Okay,
And the not
get to that in
going
a minute.
with the alien guy to talk with the Viltrumites. The Viltrumites are going to end his planet. A lot of these monsters, somebody else can take care of it, or they're just going to kill people. That sucks. You do have to draw boundaries somewhere. I absolutely agree. He is the most qualified person to help the alien senate. They ask for him directly, and he goes, "Nah, I need to go talk to my girlfriend. Maybe get some strange." Fuck off. That's so stupid. That
That's
these
so
are
human. You want him
yes.
to be a robot.
I there are certain things that I feel like necessitate even to any human.
He is a fucking 19-year-old.
Yeah, and he's not going to live to be 20 if he doesn't fucking own
No,
up and
he will
accept
live to
that.
be. You're right. He will live to be 2,000.
I am saying that I think that the difference between going and talking with this council that is potentially going to save the universe from the Viltrumites is galactically different than, hey, we need you to go fight a monster.
Yeah, you're okay.
And I think that even
I,
if I was 19 and given his experience, especially at the hand of Viltrumites, at
Do
that point, that it
don't you
necessitated.
fucking think maybe his experience with Viltrumites is maybe why he wants to avoid it? Did you stop and think he doesn't want to have his face put through another train of people?
Well, he's not fighting a Viltrumite. He's
He's
going to.
gonna have to. If he goes and talks to the council, it makes it an inevitability.
I think it makes an inevitability regardless.
Yeah, but he can avoid it for now. It's not perfect. It's the human choice. He doesn't want to.
I agree to disagree, but
You're an idiot.
likewise.
I'm sorry. No. Here, okay. You are expecting his actions to be perfect, to be moral, to be flawless. Yes, that you're right. That is the smart choice. That is the pragmatic choice. People are fickle. People are not perfect. He wants to be dedicated and give some time to Amber that he hasn't seen in 2 months. He does not want his first action to be immediately leaving again because that's what he grew up around. That's what he got used to, and he wants to be different than. It makes perfect sense. Is it smart? No. Is it rational? Really, no. But it's deliberate. He wants to have the boundaries his dad never did.
I agree with it being deliberate. I agree with it making sense. I just
No, you want him to be perfectly pragmatic. If that is your criticism, I think that's
I'm
garbage.
saying in every other situation, I understand why, or that I argue that he even should have pushed for it. This one is just so different. This one is up there with it. This one, the difference potentially is going on a date versus saving the universe. A lot of these are saving some amount of people, maybe. Like there's other people tagging in. I think it's just so different that I disagree with you that it's okay. I
I,
think
I also
any other
think I
situation, any
also
human
think
would
he
never
just
do this.
doesn't want to fucking meet Viltrumites again. I think he wants to try and put some distance between it because he just got the ever loving fuck beat out of him by one.
Yeah, but I disagree. But
Okay, Isaac, if I hit you with a car, is your fight, and I say we got to get you back on the track, buddy, you're gonna be like, maybe not. There's gonna be some fucking hesitancy.
I see this more as, hey, you got in a plane accident. You're one of the only people that, for whatever reason, can talk about fixing this thing so it doesn't, so all planes don't fall out of the sky. And you're like, no, I need to go on a date.
No, it's really not the same
That
because
that's the
they're okay. It's not going
that's
to
the
be
way
him.
I
He's
that's the
not
way
going
I
to go
see
to a
it, man.
council to talk about it. He's going to go to a council. They're going to weaponize him. Tell me that isn't going to happen.
I
Tell me that isn't going to happen.
I don't think that's gonna happen. I don't
That's a
think one guy is going to beat the whole army. I don't think that's how.
you don't think they're going to go, hey, we have one of these superpowered super soldier things. We're not going to point it and use it forward.
He's not strong enough to beat one of them on one. No, he's not going to be weaponized.
You're right, but he's stronger than 99% of the rest of the fucking universe.
Yeah, that doesn't matter though. In a fight where they have infinite Viltrumites or like 1,000 or 100 Viltrumites, and you have one guy that can't beat a Viltrumite, that's not a weapon that adds to your arsenal. Not enough where like that should be a major concern. They wanted
I
to talk to
I
him to
think you're
ask him
high.
questions
Okay.
about Viltrumites because he had the most
Okay.
experience after living
I,
through it.
okay.
So again, agree to
But
disagree.
they don't need a Viltrumite to talk about Viltrumites. Thetis can talk about it all he wants. He's fought them.
Then
They
I
don't
don't
need a.
know why they feel like they. I don't. They, I I agree to disagree on this one. I don't. I think we're coming at it from two different angles.
I think you are outrageous for citing his inability to not be pragmatic as a flaw of writing, or as a flaw of character.
This one is just so beyond the pale and
I
so
it
outside the scope of the things
At
that
a
I'm
certain
willing to
point
kind of accept.
it doesn't matter though.
You have a degree in psychology. I believe you, but this is just the way I feel, man.
Okay, I sure. The other one, Angstrom Levi's thing, it absolutely does matter. And yes, I get to your point. He's seen a fuck ton of dead people. He's seen a lot. Like, there's probably some people he's incidentally fucking killed. It's almost impossible. But it does open that door. So like, and I know that you hate the first episode. I know you hate a lot of the kind of foreshadowing of like what happens when Viltrumites go bad and it's just a fucking trash can planet. Like, okay, no surprise, nobody can stop these fucking things. Okay, fine. Um, but the biggest thing is they keep harkening to the fact that Mark can go bad and it's not hard for him to. It's very easy. And so it's like when played with right, it's the kind of fun Superman dilemma where it's like he could just kill everyone if he wanted to. If he just has a bad day and snaps, he could just murder everything, and nothing can actually make him stop. And so it's like him killing Angstrom Levi opens that door that yeah, he can just make any problem go away.
Okay, I feel like you're talking about two different problems that I had with it. Are you talking about him killing Angstrom, or are you talking about the whole Angstrom arc? Because
I'm
they are
talking about him killing Angstrom. I'll get to the Angstrom arc later.
okay.
I'm talking about him just beating Angstrom into a puddle,
Sure.
literally.
I you're probably right on that one. I just am really tired of logical disconnects from superheroes, but maybe that's me not being empathetic enough and looking
I
at it that
I
way.
think you were not being nearly empathetic enough, considering Mark is supposed to be a kid. He is not a super soldier. He is not some war veteran. He's a fucking kid who wants to try and somehow balance being a kid and having this humongous burden of responsibility dumped on him because of his lineage.
Sure.
I think that is outrageous to simply not acknowledge that him just savagely beating a guy to death is unimportant to him.
I think my hang up here, and maybe I'm just wrong in my approach, is that we had that at the end of last season, beginning of the season, with him being put into a train of people
That
and
wasn't
him
his
feeling.
choice.
I understand, but
That's
a lot of
very different. Okay, hang on.
a,
I need to pause you for 2 seconds. Okay. Do you know what causes trauma in people?
no.
It is an inability to control things. It is when you have no choice and you are at the whims of something else entirely.
Okay.
That is when trauma happens.
Okay.
When
So it's traumatic when he gets held into the bus.
yes, it's
Okay.
so this is
Okay.
not he doesn't get to actively choose to hurt any of those people.
Yep.
He is struggling to not. He just has to accept it just fucking happens
Hmm.
because no one says and
Yep.
just turns it into a blender. He chooses. He is in control, maybe not in full control, but nothing forced him to beat Levi till he died.
Yep.
That's the humongous difference.
Okay. That's valid.
Um, as the Angst from Levi arc, I kind of liked it and liked the idea that he could. It was kind of a fun little bait and switch of that you. It seems like he might be getting the goods to actually hurt a Viltrumite or actually kill a Viltrumite, and
Huh?
it sets up the kind of
What are you talking about?
yeah. I know you can hate it all you want.
No, I just literally don't know what you're talking about.
Where he goes to find Mark. It's like so in one of the alternate universes where they actually managed to capture Mark and like keep him locked up forever.
Hmm.
He just like wants to hear how he got caught, and his whole thing is that he got attritioned down, and so it just like puts the seed of the idea that he can actually be attritioned. He can actually be exhausted.
Okay, but if your appreciative takeaway is the information gleaned from him, like universe jumping,
Mm-hmm.
that died with him. So effectively, you have exposition for the audience that just took fuckloads of time that the world itself doesn't know. So if characters act on that moving forward, it's going to be accidental, or it's going to be just plot armor bullshit of like, well, we need him to beat him, so we're going to have him do this thing. It's like, okay, well, why does he know to do that all of a sudden? So
Sure.
that's kind of not going to be good.
You keep okay. I'll also make one note. You also keep looking at everything as it has to serve a furtherance of a primary plot. It it is a comic book with side plots. Like it is a comic book with not every villain. It has to be the Viltrumite. So I'm okay with an isolated incident, especially with it serving. It does have a function to move Mark and to eventually push towards that idea where he could just turn bad. Like
He could have had this experience with a Viltrumite, though. He could have killed a Viltrumite and felt this bad, and that furthers the plot. Like if on, like we could have had this moment where he buckled down and killed the Viltrumite on uh the fucking alien planet and felt this way,
sure,
and then it does something. He listened to his dad, feels terrible, did the right thing, and still felt like
actually
crap.
no, you can't
Why not?
because he needs to do it without someone telling him.
Okay, fair. Just, it felt like a lot of time for, by and large, a side character. Like I
Sure.
agree that like this is a superhero
I,
show. You
I would also go the fight. I think the fight had the fucking rule of cool going for it. I really liked it. I liked the creative use of portals and just the way he kind of fucking mind games it.
That's fair. Again, I don't there's a lot of these things I don't mind. It was the amount of time, given the fact that how what we talked about, how short a lot of other aspects were, and
Yeah,
how if you cut this out, like time is,
it
you
does feel
effectively
like a
have 8
strange thing they
episodes of an
chose to
hour.
devote the time to,
Yeah.
but I think for what time they gave it, it panned out really well.
That's where I disagree, but everybody's
I
got their own
I
preference.
I hard agree that a lot of Guardian shit it did not get the right amount of time or just simply needed to be cut. I think the Angstrom Levi stuff actually had a very satisfying payoff.
Yeah, that I disagree with you, but like I
Uh,
mean that's just preference.
Yep,
Um So there's an interesting point. I do like looking back. I think the portal fight style, it made fucking Invincible look like a moron a lot of the time because he just kind of fell into bait every time, like just
yeah.
kept running at him, which was
He's a 19-year-old impulsive kid fighting against someone who's just been sitting there strategizing.
this is 2 years of him or a year and a half of him being a superhero, and he's falling for like some of the shit was a little simplistic. You can argue anger, but it's just I like watching characters grow and figure shit out as opposed to kind of
Sure,
constantly
but I
being
mean,
a bit
okay,
stupid.
I get that. He's also never been in a fucking hostage situation.
That's a valid point. I think this fight would have felt better to me if it was at the beginning of season 3, not at the end of season 2. If we had been left on a cliffhanger of him coming back and then her being at like knife point,
Sure,
I would have liked this a lot better if this started off this way. But for it to be
sure.
the end of season 2, it just kind of felt a little hollow. I don't know. Just the amount of time that they spent in the first bit of the season having this character be shown, all of his backstory, all the lead up,
I
then
mean,
this huge gulf of time without him, to have him end in a 20-minute fight that you're right, the way I'm looking at it is a little bit kind of without context. But it just didn't feel right. And also with the amount of time that I feel like they squandered this season, that kind of just was
I mean,
the, I
so
think,
what there's kind of an interesting, not symmetry isn't quite the right word I want, but in that both,
juxtaposition.
uh, I'll tell you what I mean. There's probably a good single word for it. So the end of season one ends with Mark traumatized. It
Yep.
ends with basically his life shattering because his dad isn't who he thinks he is, um, and he just gets every living fuck beat out of him. Um, and he's kind of broken.
Hmm.
Season two gets to end with him realizing he's becoming more like his dad. That it's really easy for him to do what his dad did and just beat someone to death because they're fragile.
Sure.
So it ends with a new kind of emotional layer just slapped at Mark. Like it's something new, kind of. It's some new damn broken from an emotional standpoint.
Yeah.
So there's kind of an interesting like. Uh, it's not symmetry, but you get what I mean.
Yeah. Kind of like emotional callback of a sort.
Yeah, and I like that. I get it would be a fun cliffhanger. I'll give it to you. That would be a really cool cliffhanger to end on. Um, but I do kind of like how it ended. That the time machine thing felt a little wonky, and its whole purpose the Eve thing is a little stilted. I agree. I
And
do
just
kind
like
of
what is them showing us like because I think they can show us in this universe what fucks like there's little ways that they could have alluded to the information that Angstrom finds out without having all of this happen. And you can still have Angstrom portals to different areas without having other timelines, which I mean, we've talked about this on another podcast. You don't like fucking time travel different universe shit. We didn't need to have this. This is something that they are opening Pandora's box that just
it's
could have
it's it's been
stayed.
opened. It was open season one.
Different timelines?
Like different universes that obey different timelines. Yeah, or different time rules. Yeah.
What am I forgetting?
The aliens that have time that like time is different for them.
I have no memory of this, but I believe you.
Yeah,
Okay. Either way, I don't think we needed to play with this anymore. I think we could have, especially considering the one character that had this information is fucking dead. So like we could have gotten this information where it could have been used by characters in the universe and they
I
could have
mean,
learned something
to
which
a
betters them.
degree, the other thing that them showing up, it kind of tells it is the other way they convey it. That it's not just angst from Levi seeing him go bad. They say like he's like, I don't know if I would have lived out here. They say, oh, you would have. You wouldn't have liked what it did to you.
Sure, I don't know. I think it's something that they didn't need to do and they could have the information relayed like you were saying like him not wanting to become his dad, that being likely. There's little ways they could have done that. Characters could have said different like Viltrumites could have said different shit. I don't know. I think
I
that's something that could have been avoided
I I think the emotional stuff they did for Mark was pretty well done. I think a lot of the stuff they did for side characters was not.
in regards sorry, you lost me there in regards to what?
Like in regards to like emotional like growth and development of like other characters, I think the stuff they did around Mark, like Mark as a core plotline, I actually enjoyed. I thought was pretty good.
Sure.
Again, minus some nitpicks. I do agree that a lot of the side character shit is just kind of that. It's kind of shit. Um, Honestly, my favorite side character was Alan. I know you don't like Seth Rogen. Ed is abrasive, but like, yeah, the Guardian stuff, I'll give it not great. It really wasn't. But I liked the core of season two.
Sure.
Like in
One thing before we lose the plot on it. You referred to this show as being a comic book.
graphic novel.
No, it's a fucking TV show based on that. We do not have to follow the same rules, and it doesn't follow the same rules as a comic book does.
Sure,
And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it's just different. And so using that as a reason to make decisions, if they don't work in a TV show, you don't need to have them. And I don't think that diminishes the quality of the experience. I think that they are just different formats
I
and
don't
there's some
remember
things
what is this. What did I say? That
you're talking about I think it was like the way they were doing like callbacks and like kind of having it was in regards to having the whole kind of villainy thing of having like random one-off villains and like doing callbacks for like small villains kind of like Angstrom where they show
oh,
up, they do a little thing and then they come back.
sure.
If the
I mean, they
reason
did that in season one too.
yeah,
Like,
I probably didn't like it there either. I don't know. It just like I think if you're going to spend time on a character like kind of do it or don't. And this felt a little bit of like pussyfooting a little bit for me. And that's kind of where I lost the plot on that. But I think it is an important distinction writing wise that you don't just because it was in a comic book. There's so much in a comic book that has to get thrown out. You don't have to mirror all the things. And I think this
sure,
is another one of those
but
things
like,
that can just be
I
left behind.
I don't feel like you need to necessarily have every kind of villain that fucking steps in that it has to be like. I think it's okay that things can be episodic or just be like have random fucking one offs.
Oh, I love one-offs. I have no problem with one-offs. This was somewhere in between a one-off and a mainstay, and that's where it got muddy to me. And I'm
Sure,
kind of like a little bit like it kind of just should have been a more of a like he could have been a badass one-off. If he just shows up at the end without the like the previs or as much previs on him of being like you fucking ruined my life and he's like sorry dude I don't even fucking know you and you're like not you other you and I'm going around the universe killing all of you or something like that. I'm here for it. Like you don't have to do as much like back work as they did and take as much time for a character that's going to die in that way and his output being Mark killed him. It doesn't matter who Mark kills at that point. If Mark kills anyone, it feels horrifying to Mark, which is
sure,
the point. The point isn't for us to care about the person he killed because nobody cares about Angstrom. Not really. So I think all of that work. And the only other kind of quibble I have on the episodic, show up is the power structure that they occasionally fuck around with.
sure.
Like most of these villains, whatever, like they're taking on some big badasses. They take on that huge fucking thing in the desert at one point that it cuts to and never shows again. That
Yeah,
apparently was like a hardship for them. But then three of them can't take down a snake dipshit with a Glock and two of his homies because suddenly they're busted as shit. Also, one of them is powerful as crap but dumb as hell. He eats an explosive because reasons, which is like such a dumb way to end that fight. But I don't want to circle back to that too hard. So, positives. or is there more that we disagree with that you want to bring up?
Uh, no, I think it's fine.
Positive town.
Yeah, I think the emotional storytelling was good. I
Agree.
think, yep. Um,
The Beast Girl robot relationship, the mother relationship with her son and the new son, those were fucking amazing. I
yep,
think they did a really good job there, and I think that's kind of what you're referring to, right? With the relationship emotional building.
yep. I
Yeah.
also I think, um, honestly, one of my favorite things as far as like what felt very authentic was the relationship tension between Amber and Mark before it breaks.
Yep. No, absolutely. Yeah, the
Super well
relationship,
written.
the
The
relationship interactions in this season, I think, were very much on point.
Yeah, I loved the scene where it does like the mirror image of like, so why are you talking to me?
Hmm.
That scene was just, well, magnifique. Like
Yeah.
that is what I wanted that scene to be. Was that was like for what it was trying to convey and that emotional complication, perfect, nailed it. Um, like I think a bunch of the fights generally follow a decent rule of cool. I'm into it. Um, I I liked the progression and the kind of show of trauma on Mark. I really liked, um, and God, as much as I hate it, I kind of like the way they traumatize people in the show.
No,
I
it's
feel
great.
I feel really bad for Amber. She gets such a rough go with just a Viltrumite suddenly having a hand around her neck. Just
Yeah.
like, oh fuck.
I think the way she verbalized her response afterwards is a little bit truncated and clunky, but what she had going through her mind made complete sense, and like it was well executed. Of like, I
Yeah,
don't know if I'm okay with that. It's like, yeah, no shit. Like the fact
yeah,
that Mary Jane never talked to Spider-Man, being like, "Yo, I'm tired of all these motherfucking
yeah.
supervillains in these motherfucking town hold me over a motherfucking bridge." Like,
The I love the juxtaposition between their existences, where like I can't save the universe, but I matter, was
yeah,
so good. Like the show does such a good job with some of the really good emotional weights.
yeah,
Like the a lot of the grief for Sandra Oh is so good. Like where she goes to his gravestone, she's like, "I didn't fucking know you."
yeah,
So good. Like, god damn, the emotional, and it's largely carried by the voice acting. As we said, it's all their budget, but god damn,
yeah.
does it
Wish it
pay?
wasn't as. There's some of the characters that don't need to be that good, but you could like
Fair.
just hire some better animators and some better writers and get some schlocky site. Like, dude, they have like SNL lineup A-listers in some of their side voice acting roles. Hire a bum. Like you don't need to have like I don't need to like mouse over my Amazon page and have it be all names I've known before. Like
Yeah,
every scene. Just calm
yeah,
down, it's fine.
yeah. Um, yeah. Um,
We talked about it a little bit earlier, but the tongue-in-cheek homages, especially
holy
with
sh! The
the
animation scene
Comic
was
Con
so
episode,
good.
but also the when he's jumping through portals, which again I'm mid on. You loved the whole Spider-Man thing and whatever. I was like, all right, this is good
Wait,
humor.
so you dress like a bat, and your name is
I love how that's a cutaway gag. You can see his like him backlit, and that he's saying that is
yeah.
pretty fucking funny.
It was, um, yeah. I like it was not as good as season one for me, but I still really enjoyed it. I still found it very compelling. I like the personal storylines drove me a lot more than a lot of the like action storylines.
Sure.
Um, which is kind of odd, but yeah, like I still I feel like a lot of your frustrations with it, especially around like actions and like is if you just kind of go, we just kind of run on this idea of X beats Y, or like if you show that something can hurt something, it, we're kind of ignore the real world physics required because like for things to actually hurt Mark, he should be like flying because something would have to hit him hard enough to push him like Mach 2 or something outrageous.
Yeah.
So
No,
like if you're just
I agree that my quibbles with the superpower fighting physics is a little bit like of
yeah
a foolish notion, but there's some times where it just feels a little antiquated, and I wish they could like figure out a power system where I
That
could
starts
like,
getting really hard when you go with like when at one point you see Omni Man just fly fast enough to turn himself into a particle accelerator and a bomb, or like a bomb essentially,
yeah,
because he's igniting the air around him. Like it's really hard to start balancing that shit.
valid.
Um,
It's a fair point. It's just it's
like
in the
I
it's upon second viewing or second thought. In the moment, I'm usually here for it, but it's like
yeah,
the second I start thinking about it, it's just this is a little
sure.
quacky. Also,
It's
some of the also the fact that a lot of this comes back to small things, but the whole like it's mostly encapsulated in our least favorite moment of the season with the or what ends up becoming our least favorite moment with the fight with Rexplode, and then the other two, the whole bullet damage thing mattering all of a sudden seemed whack. Like give him a laser cannon so I don't have to think the snake guy's a muppet would be helpful. But
okay.
also
I'll give it to you. The fact that he just fucking takes him out with like a deagle is kind of funny.
it's so, and the fact that he's their leader when that's what he's got is just like raises an eyebrow of what the fuck, especially when I'm
I
supposed to
I feel
care.
like they could have made him seem a little more charismatic and not so stupid.
Or
If
just
he,
give him a gun or a superpower. I don't care.
I
Like
would,
have him shoot snakes out of his hand for fuck's sake.
I'd have been fine with him just being charismatic, but he kind of wasn't.
No, he's horrible in every
He's a
direction.
tool. Um,
Also, I'm just realizing this. Um, why is Rexplode at any point punching anyone? At multiple points in that fight, regardless of who, he takes a swing. Are you fucking kidding me? You're normal. Your punches are at best. That's not bad. You're a human that can like make Gambit shit up. Gambit away, my guy. Don't throw hooks. You're not Tyson, asshole. Stop that shit. Like, what the fuck are you doing? If I was over here, like fucking able to shoot lightning bolts out of my hand, you wouldn't ever see me curl my fists. Cause why? Like, like what are we doing?
this is man. It's there's something very nice with the tactile sensation of hitting someone. I don't know. It's the best I
Especially
got
when you
for
saw them tear your friend apart and smash two of them together with their hands, and you're like, you know what? Got this.
it.
Like,
Hold
no,
my beer.
don't. Come on, Rex. Know your role. Something I really did like, though, as far as fighting goes, was the uh calling the Viltrumite bluff when he was losing to a super fast
You know,
Viltrumite build.
either you need me or you don't.
Yeah, that was so gong in season 1 of Hunter x Hunter when like to pass the exam, he's like, "I'm not going to concede, but you will." And the guy's like, "I'm just going to kill you." He's like, "You're not going to kill me." To like the samurai guy or whatever, and just
Yeah.
let him beat him an inch from death. And he's like, "I'm not going to give up." The guy's like, "Fuck," and just like, concedes. It's just like that's a move. You gotta respect it. Like that's a move.
Put some respect on that name. Like, god damn.
Yeah, just like got this. It's called not conceding. It's like damn.
Balls.
Yeah,
Brass balls.
it's fucking that respect on the name. That was great. Um, I do like that the it's such a small aside per season, but I do love it. Also, the voice actor is the guy that plays the principal from American Dad, but the guy with the clones,
Oh, the Mauler
the
twins.
Mauler
I
twins,
love the Mauler twins.
they're
Every
so great.
scene, they fucking steal it.
They chew it up every time. The fact that one
my
of them,
lemonade is amazing, you asshole.
yeah, the fact that he gets a deformation and is stoked because now we know which one's the clone. The clone just kills him. It's like, yeah, that's the reason you should all look the same. It was
Yeah,
such a great thought
they even
experiment
say it when they
realized.
introduce the cloning process, like,
Yeah.
yeah, there were mistakes. We found out. We have to do it this way.
Yeah. It's so great. I loved it. That was so awesome. That was like one of the only for me good takeaways of Extra was just like, oh, we get this scene that makes sense and you get to see it actualized and not
No,
like explained. I was like, that's awesome. It's just like just straight up kills the other one for being an asshole. I gotta treat him equal. Equal pay for equal clones. And they they did it halfway through the season and they ended with it. Nolan being surprised and initially angry about having emotions was awesome.
Yeah.
When he's just like, "Why do I give a fuck?" And I'm like, "Oh, that's such a cool thing for this character because it makes sense."
Yeah.
But for them not to like come, I was worried they were gonna come to him and he was like, "I'm better now," and not be like,
Yeah.
because when they did that, I was like, all right, either he's trying a different lure, which fine, but a little on the nose, or he's changed. But if they were gonna have him change like real quick, I was gonna be kind of like, blech, like that's too fast. But the way they showed it of like he's annoyed, like
It's
I
it's
shouldn't
it's
be this
new.
way.
It's frustrating. It's different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then at the end, when he's like, I can't believe I'm saying this. I miss
It's
my
my
wife.
wife.
I'm like, damn, that's awesome. It's such a random line to end with,
It
but
was such a cool. It was so goofy. Like, wait, what?
yeah, it's like, nah, I get it. Like that's it makes
I
lots of
like the
sense.
genuine surprise. Like it goes with the audience sentiment. Like, what?
Yeah. No, it's like I think that what they did with the Omni Man this season, shockingly, like I was like, yeah, I get it.
Yeah. I'm I'm very excited for the prison break with him and Alan because I feel like that's inevitable. I'm here for it.
I think it's gonna be cool. I think it's going to logically not add up at all.
Sure.
Like it's gonna piss me off after I like laugh and go, yeah, but then I'm just gonna be like, God damn it. Like this doesn't fucking add up. Like there's so much plot armor that's gonna go into
I
that.
mean, there is one thing I will say, and it's that Viltrumite seem very steeped in tradition and kind of stupid as a result.
Yeah, they are very Spartan in
Yeah,
their approach to a lot of things, so I can definitely see that being an undoing of
that's
theirs.
yeah, and they also just they don't know how strong Alan is now.
Uh-huh. That's true.
So I
Although
think
that like level up is still a little bit hokey to me, but whatever. C'est la vie. All right. Any other high fives to give the show before we give it a
I
grade?
I absolutely love the fucking tongue in cheek Comic Con scene where they talk about why it takes so long to animate stuff.
That's pretty good.
The scene was so
It's
awesome.
really hard to look at. It was driving my eyes and ears nuts because they weren't agreeing,
Yeah,
but it was
it's
funny.
it's really funny. It's
Yeah.
very clear. Just like look at the audience, like yeah, we fucking see you.
Yeah.
Go fuck yourself.
Absolutely.
We know this takes a while. Shut up. Like the cut back to Mark covering his mouth before he talks, it fucking killed me. I couldn't hang. I was dying. Um, yeah, I think we've hit on like on the good I want. I really hope my tentative optimism is that they have set up threads they're going to explore next season, or I think they've announced season 3 and 4, or like like locked up for season three
I
and four.
mean, yeah, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, it's wildly popular. Um, but yeah, I like a lot of the threads they've left themselves to follow. I really hope that they do better with the fucking Guardians. God, they really dropped the ball with the Guardians. That is absolutely the weak point of the show of this
Mhm.
season.
I think it's sad and funny that they go, yeah, we're not the best superheroes on the planet. I'm just like, it,
Well, you're not wrong.
you're not wrong, but you should be. Like with the money that they're giving you, you very fucking should be. That's kind of stupid for your characters to say and be right. Uh, but I agree that I hope they follow up on the threads that they've set up. I think their way that they brought in the threads was very ham-fisted and bad,
Sure.
but to each their own. But if they don't follow up, boy, you're gonna be fucking hearing from me next season.
Oh, I'm sure.
Anyway, before we milk this completely dry, grade?
I would give it somewhere between 7.5 out of 8 for me.
Yeah, I'm giving it a C minus.
Okay.
So
You're giving
that'd be like a 5 out of 8.
no, I like 7.5, 8 out of 10.
Oh, okay, you're at 7.5 out of 8. So a C minus.
So you're like 6.5 to 7.
No, that's I guess out of 10. It's so weird that it changes out of 10. I guess it's because our grading system is weird.
Our grading system is bunk. At an F is over half of the grade.
Yeah. Yeah, so I guess like on a scale of 1 to 10, say like a 4.5, 4.9.
Uh,
It's pretty very chalky aftertaste. Not a fan.
literally mid.
Yep. Definitely wasn't. There's shows that are bad, but like this isn't something. If I walked in and somebody was watching this, I'd be like, I get it. You know, it's not for me.
Sure.
Whatever. It's not something that I would grab the remote and turn it off. Be like, no.
Incorrect.
All right. See you after the ad break for our weekly recommendations and quip off.
Have you ever wanted to feel some mainstream appeal as a nerd? Have you wanted to indulge in a little bit of power fantasy? Do you love when the good guy wins in the end and most things wrap up with a nice little bow on top? Might I interest you in some comic book movies? With them tasty comic book movies, you get the first grade moral lessons with explosions and punches, punctuation to emphasize. Add in some clear expectations of who's your villain versus who is our hero, and you found yourself a winning formula that will undoubtedly appeal to the masses. So what are you waiting for? Go embark on that hero's journey to get the MacGuffin. It's coming to a theater near you this summer.
Hey, thanks for sticking around.
Well,
So,
hi.
sorry, what?
I said, well, hi.
So, Broskinkowski, what you been watching?
Honestly, I've been watching a shit ton of League of Legends. It's been an international tournament. It has been very distracting to me. So what I will instead recommend, since that is not going to be for everybody, a classic from the yonder years, Samurai Champloo. That show slaps. Um,
You gotta watch at least. You gotta check out at least episode one. Episode one, I think that's my favorite episode one of any show ever.
it's really good. I don't know if it's my favorite of any show ever, but it's solid. It's
I'm talking
very
about
good.
episode, not episodes of any show. I'm talking about the first episode of any show.
Yeah. I feel like I could find some contenders, but it's a solid entry for
Yeah.
sure. First ballot. Um, it absolutely bangs. It's still gorgeous because it's hand drawn. It's very well animated. Its soundtrack still bangs. Its voice acting is busted.
Yippers.
It's a terrific show.
10 out of 10 would watch again.
Absolutely. What would you recommend for people?
I need to rewatch it because I got a bit high and passed out most of the way doing it. But from the like 40 minutes I did listen to it, Neil Brennan's Crazy Good. It's his new Netflix special.
Mm-hmm.
I've enjoyed every one of his specials and his podcast blocks pretty regularly. I would recommend checking him out. The way he thinks about things is very fun. I think he is very meticulous isn't the right word. Very thoughtful the way he constructs his jokes, not only
Mm-hmm.
in the way he looks at it, but when he makes an earnest point, it's usually hits the mark. It's not the shower thoughts of a comedian that he didn't, like run by anyone and just said it aggressively on stage. Dave Chappelle. Uh, but he
Oh, the
really
mighty have
when he
fallen.
makes he almost feels like somebody that a comedian that went to therapy school, for lack of a
Mm-hmm.
better word, and kind of got a lot of that. And I think some of that comes from he has done a lot of therapy, he's done a lot of soul searching. He's very introspective while still being very glib and funny and kind of cute and worldly. So it's a good blend. I really appreciate his vantage point. Another thing to watch since that one's pretty short. Speaking of my co-host's recommendation for Samurai Champloo, if you want kind of older styled anime biz without all the show to watch, it'll be in the references, but Hanahaki blank, Hanahaki blank, all one word on YouTube. They take and make kind of these 1 minute to 3 minute supercuts of old anime bits they liked from that show. Occasionally add music or just let the sounds play for themselves, and it's just so nostalgia cathartic
Mm.
from somebody that grew up watching that and loving that style, that grittiness of that animation. You see the outline marks that didn't get erased from the page, and it feels so much more correct or real, whatever the right word there is.
Hmm.
And it's just a great, oh, I kind of want to. It's a great way to like lift you up without. It's a different kind of dopamine hit, I guess is the best way
Sure.
to say it for me and anybody else that grew up that way. I recommend that if that's an itch you're looking to scratch without spending all the time to rewatch a show. Although rewatching Samurai Champloo, well worth it, and wouldn't not recommend at all. You listening to anything recently, Broskinkowski, or have you been
Say nothing new that has jumped off a shelf at me, honestly. Um,
does your
like
music live on shelves?
it's a figure of speech, asshole.
Well, something that's jumped off my shelf at my face is I Like the Way You Kiss Me by Artemis. It's not Artemis, it's Artemis, Artemas.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't fucking know. But it's a song that a lot of people have probably heard on like TikToks or something like that. It's this cutesy little like synth bop. It's really fun. It's very much one note. I think like a minute in, you're gonna hear all the words and sounds you've heard just on repeat until the end of the song. But it's really fun. And maybe it's just the YouTube shorts I've seen it on.
Mm-hmm.
It does what I want it to do, and very much is kind of like, just gets you going in like I think like 2 minutes. It's really short, but it's really fun. So
And
to end our
what do we have
episode,
the pleasure of clipping off today, Isaac?
you mentioned it earlier. It made me want to do it this episode. That's totally why we picked it. Brooklyn Nine-Nine, your show du jour. All right, I am going to set a timer on my phone. Boop-a-doop-a-doop. Timer. 2 minutes. All right. You ready, Freddie?
Let's do it.
Get Mark. On your mark, get set, go.
But if you're here, who's guarding Hades?
Cool.
It's not every day you get to see a man fight a crocodile.
I've only known Arlo for 2 hours, but if anything was to happen to him, I would kill everyone in this room and then myself.
It's a very violent eulogy. I like it.
You took the wrong fluffy boy.
Are you trying to Monty Hall me?
You guys just need to bone.
What did you say?
Bing pot.
So you get out of here, you grackle.
Bone.
Shit. Given the flames around her, it could still be a live stream.
Yas, queen.
My dogs just watch Peabody and Sherman, so they're extra horny.
Do you know how to clap back, Raymond? 'Cause I do.
Don't take it the wrong way. It's just nice to breathe air that didn't come out of your body.
It's the oomfiest woomph you're gonna get.
Maybe I'll go sit by the pool and read some fiction, like the bimbo I am.
Vindication!
Oh, how could you not like me? We only met once. I said football. Oh, I see what happened.
And that is time. My next one was gonna be I can't remember the lead up to it, but it's Raymond Holt drinking like the last or like before he drinks the last bottle of wine to save the bar. something. Your boy's turned.
my vision, my
vision's askew.
My equilibrium is askew. My fuck, I don't remember. It's like something else. In short, your boy's turned.
Yeah.
The
And with
slippers
that,
are filled. Terry is chilled.
we probably could have done that for like 10 minutes.
I mean,
Uh,
if nothing else, there's just a lot of terrific one-liners between Holt and Wunsch.
yeah. I don't think we did any of like the Scully or like the Scully ones either. A lot of just random nonsense that those two chuckleheads say. Wait, did we do? I don't even think we did a Boyle one either.
I did one Boyle one.
You did one Boyle one. I was thinking of the like
sexy train is leaving the station.
Look,
check out this caboose.
That's what I was thinking. I forgot to roll up to it.
You could be a little less confident though. Do you like pina colada? Dead guy.
Dead Boyle.
Nope, right.
All right. Before we end up doing 10 minutes, that's our episode. So thank you for tuning in. And if you enjoyed this, please feel free to
like,
comment,
share,
and subscribe.
But don't forget, new episodes of Super Pros Bros come out the first and third Saturday of every month. Bye.